Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Yoga with Dave. That's me. It's number 60. 60 classes have gone by. So if you've been with us all that time, then welcome back. And if you're new to yoga, then congratulations on making it this far. Maybe you're just a little bit curious. You know, the nice thing about online communities is that we don't have to just go full on in, do we? We can just kind of dip our toes in and see what's going on. So there might be some of you guys out there this afternoon thinking, let's just have a little look what this yoga thing's all about. And probably the way that I teach is going to be completely different to how another teacher teaches. And that's the really nice thing about yoga. It's so varied and everyone brings their own personality to it. And everybody will find a style that kind of suits them or they enjoy more. But the main thread, I think, about starting a new practice like yoga or Pilates or whatever it may be, you know, anything that's on provided by the Royal Voluntary Service, is that you just come with it with that air of curiosity and that you be really kind to yourself. Because we're learning, you know, it's called a yoga practice. The fact that it's called a yoga practice means that we're practicing it. You know, we're not supposed to be experts at anything. And if we do things time and time again, they become familiar, and then we probably get better. But better, what's better? You know, it's a bit abstract, isn't it? So we're very hard on ourselves a lot of the time, where we come into something new, we think we're not very good at it, or we can't do it, or we're not strong enough, or we're not flexible enough, or we're not focused enough, and we go, I tried yoga, didn't really like it, it wasn't for me. You probably tried it one time or two times, and you probably didn't find the right teacher, you probably didn't find the right class. So hopefully, with me, you're going to find the right class and the right teacher. And then you find the circumstances in your life sometimes where yoga just kind of fits in with it. So try and get away with what it looks like. It doesn't matter. What it feels like, it probably does matter, you know, but it's very personal how it feels like. But get away from that you've got to look a certain way, or you've got to have a certain body, or you've got to be a certain type of person. It's all nonsense. None of that exists. And it's only probably the Western style of yoga, which, yeah, sure, you know, that's what we're all part of in the West here. But the Western style of yoga, as in advertising it, which is all about what it looks like, and, you know, getting into crazy arm balances and headstands and all that sort of stuff. And whereas those things can be quite good fun, they're probably not much to do with it at all, you know? So thank you so much for joining this afternoon. We're going to move a little bit. You know, we're going to work with the breath. So a bit of pranayama, that's breath work. And then we'll just see how we go. We'll kind of like try and meld this class together. And then after 45 minutes, we'll come out hopefully feeling a little bit better. And if you made it this far, fantastic. If you're outside doing yoga today, even better. And I probably could have got away with being outside today. I think the last class that I did outside for the Royal Voluntary Service was in September. And we had this beautiful day in September, and I went out into the park. So it kind of feels so nice practicing outside. But the fact that I'm inside and I'm warm and I've got no heating on, and the sun is rushing through these beautiful windows at the Space to Breathe Collective here in Leicester, that's a beautiful thing as well. All right, I'm going to move backwards. I'm going to come onto my mat. You're probably there already. For this first part, if you're not that comfortable sitting on the floor, then you can sit on something. I'm sat on a bolster at the moment. If you want to sit against a wall or sit in a chair, that's perfectly reasonable for this part of the class, because we want to be comfortable. You know, that's the most important thing, is being comfortable. All right, I'm going to sit on this little block, actually. So if you've got a book about kind of that width, that's something nice to sit on. And the reason I sit on that block is I want to be nice and comfortable. So see, I sit right on the edge of my block. I can draw a lot of length into my spine. If I'm sat here on the floor, yeah, you know, it feels reasonable, but there's a little bit more in terms of physicality going on. So I want to make this as relaxed as possible. So I'm just perching myself up. You see my knees, they drop down. I'm not particularly flexible in the knees, but if I sit on a block, I can just drop my knees and my hips down a little bit, and then I feel this release in my lower back. All right, so we use a little mudra, a hand position. So bring the thumb and the forefinger together, and just place the thumb and the forefinger, and the fingers, the other fingers, so the three fingers are just out straight. And then see if you can bring a little bit of length into your spine. And as you bring that length into your spine, bring your attention to your mind's eye, and then see if you can relax all the way through the shoulders. Relax the neck, relax your face, your jaw, all the way up to the crown of the head. And you might have done this already. You might have seen me do it, or intuitively you might have just closed your eyes. But if it doesn't feel good to close your eyes, then just soften your gaze. So you just do this, you soften your gaze down towards your feet. And then breathe deeply here. Deep inhales and full exhales. And just track your rhythm of breath. You're not trying to do anything in particular with the breath. You just begin to pay attention to what the breath feels like. Well, I guess that's the essence of our yoga practice. It's about paying attention. It's about coming to the present moment. So let's do this together. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Full exhale through the mouth. Make it quite loud. Sigh it out. Then one more like that. Nice deep inhale through the nose. And a full exhale through the mouth. Beautiful. And then if your eyes are closed, just come with the eyes open. Let's move just a little bit because we're going to come back to another breath work. So bring your feet out, maybe lean back into your hands so you can have this nice tilt in the spine. Just drop the knees from side to side. So you just kind of scissor the legs. But you're being really, really gentle here. Super, super gentle. Yeah. Nice. Really nice, everyone. Gently dropping the knees down to either side. And then from here, come all the way back to center. And then see if you can remember which shin was in front and then recross your shins. Make sure you're nice and comfortable. Find your length into your spine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do something called box breathing. It's nice and simple. What it does, it works with the regulation of the breath. So if you're feeling anxious, you're feeling overwhelmed, you feel sad, you feel angry, any of these kind of emotions that come into the body, which are, come into the mind, which are very natural, we can work with those by using breath. So we inhale for a count of 4. We hold at the top for a count of 4. We exhale for a count of 4. And we hold at the bottom for a count of 4. So think of it like a box. So inhaling, hold, exhaling, hold. And I'll talk you through the first few rounds, and then we can just go off on our own just for a few rounds. So make sure you're really comfortable. Maybe close the eyes. Find a position with the hands that feel reasonable. In fact, let's do this one. I was going to do it anyway. Place the left hand on the heart and then the right hand on the left hand. So you just encourage the chest to open. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Pause the breath here at the top. Exhale through the nose. Pause the breath at the bottom. Inhaling. Pause the breath. Exhaling. Pause the breath. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. 2 more rounds. Inhaling. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Final round. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Nice. Fantastic. Bring the hands out. Bring your fingertips down onto the floor. So if you're sat on something here, you can remain sat and then just have a little wriggle through the body. Make this intuitive. Maybe you round the spine, maybe you roll the shoulders. You just bring in a little bit of movement. You can do this. You can stretch the arms above the head, clasp the hands, push them towards the sunny sky. Maybe move from side to side. Maybe push the palms away, round into the spine. Bring the arms up. Whatever feels good for you, maybe you sweep the arms behind. You can clasp the hands. You can open the heart center. You can move the body from side to side. So I guess what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter what any of this looks like, you just bring in a little bit of movement into your body. Nice. Let's do some neck circles. So what we're going to do is you're going to have your head at center. Inhale the head up. Exhale your head down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Maybe you start with the circles really small and slow and the eyes are closed, and then you can eventually make them a little bit bigger. Remember, this is just a gentle yoga class. I don't mean just a gentle yoga class. I mean it's a gentle yoga class in all of the positive ways. It doesn't need to be super physical. We will move a little bit more, but at the start, we're just beginning to pay attention to our physical body. And it could be the first time we've done this for a long time. So things might pop up, things might arise that feel uncomfortable, physically and emotionally. Just be aware of those things. And then come back to center and then just begin to turn the head in the opposite direction. How often do we give ourselves just this time, just to move and get into the body? We spend a lot of our time disconnected from our physicality and our mind, and these two things are intrinsically linked, but we don't put them together, and we start to miss all sorts of things. Nice. And then bring the head all the way back to center, and then exhale through the mouth. And if your eyes are closed, come with your eyes open. And then if you're sat on something, just remove what you're sat on. Remember, I'm sat on this little block. I'm going to place it off to one side. I'm going to turn the comments on. Bring your feet out again. And then just lean back into the hands. And then just begin to move the legs again from side to side. But now sitting directly on the floor. If you did all of that opening sequence with the breath and those simple movements, sat up against a wall or in a chair, you could probably come down onto the floor. But make yourself comfortable. If you want to build a little nest with props and blankets, then feel free to do that. Beautiful, nice. And then we'll come back to a seated position. In fact, let's do this first. Bring your legs out. I like doing this. Start with your calves. Just give them a little slap out, and you can move into the other leg. Maybe the tops of the feet, maybe the bottoms of the feet. And then move your way up into the thighs. And this is just a little massage into the body. Doesn't have to look a certain way. Into the chest, your belly. Just weight the body up. Down one arm, down the other arm. Back of the neck, back of the head, back of the shoulders. Give yourself a little tap. Nice. And then just place your left hand and your right hand on your heart again. Just take a couple of breaths with the legs outstretched or whatever feels good for you. Connect deeply with yourself. Have a little wave of your feet. Hello. All right, nice. Then you can come back to center. Feel that invigoration in the body. And now we're going to do a little movement into the hips and a little movement into the spine, because we carry a lot of tension here. We carry a lot of tension in our lumbar spine. So the hands come onto the knees. Inhale the chest forward. Exhale round. Inhale forward. Exhale round. And just get into a nice steady rhythm. Nice. Try and match the movement with breath. Inhaling forward. Exhale round. Inhale forward. Exhale round. Nice. So what you're doing here is just rotating your torso around your hips. And if it feels too much, if you're, coming into it like I am, then you can just be here. You can be a little bit higher and you're just making these little hip circles. You might be working really slowly. You might just be getting into the spine a bit more, and just making sure you're waking everything up. Wherever you are, come back the other way. Matching the movement with breath. So maybe bending deeply into the elbows. Hardly any pressure. If I take my hands away, I'm still got the movement going. So a lot of the movement comes from the navel center. And then if you want it to be up a little bit higher, then you can be here. Nice. See if you can smile. We don't have to take all this stuff super seriously. It's like a little journey. It's like, think of yourself as a geographer or an explorer, and you're exploring your body and the surrounding area. Nice. Beautiful. Inhale, come all the way back to center. Exhale through the mouth. And then final time, bring the hands back, stretch your legs, bend into the knees. And then this time, as you drop the knees over to the right, just pause here. Breathe deeply into the left hip. See if you can find that softness. Send the breath where it's needed. If it feels too much, you can just do this and you bring the feet closer together. You maybe flatten that left shin all the way down onto the floor. If I do that, then I'll really feel it here on the outside of my hip. And then all the way back to center. Readjust the legs if you need to. And then come down to the other side. Beautiful, really nice work. 2 more breaths here. Deep inhale. Full exhale. 1 more like that. Your deepest inhale. And your fullest exhale. And then bring the knees all the way back to center. Nice. Recross the legs. Can you remember which shin was in front? You see what I'm doing? I'm doing this thing. That's because I can't remember. Which one was it? I think it was this way. It doesn't matter. Just so you don't get a bit of imbalance in the hips, but it's very, very tiny anyway. Okay, so we're going to move side to side. We can become very tight laterally, down in our kind of like the sides of the body. So this lateral movement, this side to side movement can really help to free up the side of the ribs. So it's nice and simple again. You're going to flatten the left palm down. You're going to bring the right arm over to the left. So you can inhale here, and then you bring the left arm over to the right. You can exhale here. So see if you can match it with breath. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. And then just get into a little flow movement. Nice. Oh, I'm smiling a lot today, aren't I? Feels good though, doesn't it? Just to move the body. Move the body, move the breath. You think about yoga, this Yoga Sutras was this a book written by a guy called Patanjali, and Sutra number 1.2, so only the second sutra that he wrote, was something like, well, it was in Sanskrit, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And I like to translate it as yoga is a calming of the fluctuations of the mind, or the whirlpooling of the mind, or the mental modifications. I've seen it written. And that's beautiful, isn't it? We're not just coming into a practice that physically is very, very good for us, especially as we all get older, but emotionally, it's amazing. Energetically, there's lots of things going on at these different levels. So probably that's why I'm smiling all the time. Joyful practice, that's what we're looking for. We're looking to move with joy. We're not looking to move so it looks a certain way. That's the stuff. I used to have a yoga teacher who used to say that. That's the stuff. All right, 2 more on the side. See what that's done for your body. See what that's done for your breath. And then bring the top arm down, whichever one it was. Press your fingertips into the floor. Take a beautiful deep inhale. And your fullest exhale. And then one more like that. Deep inhale. And your fullest exhale. Nice work. Really, really beautiful. Well, we've been here for now for 20 minutes sat, so you're either on a chair or you're propped up or you're sat on the floor like me or on a block. Let's come onto all fours. And because we've been sat there so long, we've moved the legs a little bit, haven't we? But let's move them a bit more. Just stretch out your right foot, press into the toes, and then maybe just spread out through your fingers. And then you can always lift the right foot up. Imagine that you're pressing the sole of this right foot, the one that's waving around, into the wall behind. So you feel this activation. So your leg's not kind of dropping down, lengthen from the hip all the way to the sole of the foot. Nice. And then bring that right foot down and then just repeat on the left-hand side. And maybe pressing into the left toes, first of all. Spread out through your fingers. Have a quick look at your fingers. And then maybe lift the leg. You can just waggle the foot for a little bit. But you'll notice now, as soon as the leg lifts, you have to kind of you have to engage at the core here, don't you? It's like, it's a movement. You kind of like sucking the belly in a little bit. And then my gaze just goes quite naturally down to the top of my mat, so I'm just looking at one spot. We're going to balance in a minute, so we'll work into that. All right, nice. Bring that left leg down, and then stack your knees right underneath your hips. Nice. Take an inhale, drop the belly down, lift your head and your heart. Exhale, around your spine. Inhale. Exhale. So inhale, you come forward. This is your cow. Spine elongates, head and the heart lifts. Exhale, around the spine. This is your angry cat. Inhale forward. Exhale round. Inhale forward. Exhale round. Two more like that. Inhale, come all the way back to center. And then a full exhale. Nice. A little scratch in my nose. Have a little scratch in your nose if you need to. Split your knees nice and wide. Bring the big toes together. And then see if you can sit your sit bones back onto your heels. So this is the first movement. Can you come here? If your hips are here and you feel really tight, it's not a problem. You're still finding length in the spine. Then walk the hands forward. See if you can come down onto your forehead. And again, if it feels too much, bring your head onto your hands, or make pillows, or make a pillow with your fists. You can stack the fists on top of each other, or you might have a blanket or a cushion, something to prop underneath your body. And then just breathe it out here. Nice deep inhales, full exhales. Deep inhale, and a full exhale. Beautiful. From here, press into the hands. Come all the way back onto all fours. That was your child's pose. And then we'll come into downward facing dog. We won't be here for long. Then we're going to come and stand, and we're going to do a few standing postures, but they'll be quite static. So tuck your toes under, lift up through your hips, and then come in your downward facing dog. So the first thing I do is I just adjust my feet. So I step my feet a bit wider, and most of the time I just step my feet up. So avoid this. You see this a lot where this is the down dog. It's too long. So step your feet in, and then put a bend in the knees, and see how you can really elongate the spine. So my heels aren't on the floor. I'm too tight to do that. They're never going to be there. Just get rid of this block. So you can see my heels are quite lifted. If I did this and lengthen my legs, you see my lower spine, there's a big bow in it. If I bend my knees, I can bring my chest down towards the floor. My head is nice and loose. I'm sucking my navel in. I'm lifting my hips. So this is the shape that I want to be. So you just adapt. So you might need to bend the knees. Most people do, but a lot of people think bending the knees is cheating, which it certainly isn't. All right, from here, walk your hands back towards your feet. Come back nice and slowly. So then you find yourself here in a standing forward fold. Again, bend the knees. Let everything just hang down towards the floor. You might want to grab hold of your knees. You might want to grab hold of your shins. You might bring the hands all the way down. You can always just hang here in ragdoll. And then just breathe deeply. Deep inhales, full exhales. Just sway from side to side. You can be big, it can be small. You can bring the weight into the toes. You can bring the weight into the heels. Whatever feels good. But keep the breath flowing. Nice. Bring your hands down, bend deep into the knees. Then bring the hands onto the hips, and then roll all the way up. Come up to stand. And then I disappear. Nice. So now you're going to find yourself in the center of your mat. All right, I'm going to move my back all the way back here, and I think this is going to be fine. I'm a little bit far away, but I just want to demonstrate to you the sound should be absolutely fine because I've got this lovely microphone. So we're going to do some balances. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to do some balances, and balances can be a little bit tricky. This is a balance, isn't it? Me just on my toes. And we think about balances as, really trying to find that focus and attention. So what you will be trying to do is just focus on one spot on the floor. Try not to move your gaze around too much. It's called a drishti point in yoga, like a gaze point. And what I do is I find something. I've got a really lovely wooden floor here. So there's loads of beautiful knots on the floor. So I'll probably look at one of the knots and I'll just stare at it. And that's how you're going to find your balance. Balancing can be really frustrating because that's one of the things that we probably don't do a lot. But if we practice it, we become very astute at it. Not good, but we lose the ability to balance as we get older. So this is a really nice practice. And the beautiful thing about balancing is that we can bring it into our everyday life. So we don't just have to do it when we're doing a yoga class. We can do it, and I'll show you a few examples of that. Okay, all right. So coming to your mat. I'm going to stand sideways. You might, wherever you can see me. So those examples of when can we balance? So what I always used to do before I did yoga was I'd sit on my bed and I'd put my socks on. And now when I put my socks on, I'm doing this, putting my socks on like this. Another person that I spoke to the other day was talking about when they're in the shower. So they do this, while I'm wobbling around. I need to find somewhere to look at. And they wash their feet. Or they might bring their foot up here and they're washing their foot. So all these things that we can do just in our everyday life, it's amazing, then we're finding our balance. Someone else that I was talking to the other day said he knows somebody who brushes his teeth for a minute and he stands on one leg, and then he brushes his teeth for another minute and stands on the other leg. So that's great, isn't it? His teeth are really clean and he can balance as well. It's amazing. All right, so when you're doing this, if you feel wobbly, if you're against the wall, just put your fingertip against the wall. And that's going to help you no end. So the first pose we're going to do is tree pose, but let's do a little bit of prep before we come into it. So standing your feet about hip width apart, and then what you're going to do, you're going to spread out through your left toe. So that's going to be your standing leg. It's nice and firm. And then with your right leg, just begin to sweep it backwards and forwards. So it's barely touching the floor. So the sole of the foot isn't touching the floor, but it's really close. And you might do that, you might wobble around a little bit. And you make the swing as big or as small, it feels good for you. You're getting into the hips, and your mind is beginning to, your brain is working out what's going on. You're like, hold on a minute, you don't usually do this. What's going on? But your brain is learning all the time. Nice. It's building strength in that left leg, and it's helping you balance. And then come all the way back to center, and then just give the legs a little shake out. I'm not sure what that noise I made was. All right, do the other side, spread out for your right toes. This is where your engagement is in this right hand side. And then your left leg, you're just going to swing it. Notice any differences from side to side. You can make them big, you can make them small. You can go to the side if you want. You can go this side, that side. Just have a little play around. What works for you? I'm going to fall out. I'm going to use this arm. Nice. And then come back to center. And then give the legs a little shake out. All right. So tree pose is where we're going to go next. I'm going to come forward a little bit. So in tree pose, you see this pose a lot. People on social media, you see it a lot on adverts on TV, and people are doing this. So then see where my foot is? It's right on the side of my knee, and you see it this way. Please don't do that because this is where it shouldn't be. But people put it there because it's kind of comfortable and you can push into the knee and then it kind of like, you can feel the rest in there, but it throws your knee joint out, so don't do that. So these are your options. You can bring your foot here, where you're just on your toes. You can bring your foot here, already wobbling, where it's on your calf. Or you can bring your foot all the way in, and then it can be up here, right into the thigh. So find something that works for you. I'm going to go on the calf because it's kind of like a halfway point. Whichever pose you come into, you press the calf into the foot into the calf. You press the thigh into the foot into the thigh. So you've got that opposing force which helps you find the balance and helps you hold the pose. So, enough talking, Dave. Let's do a little bit of balancing. So you can bring the hands to heart center, or you can have the hands at the side, and then you're going to lift up your right foot, and then you might do this a little bit. You see, you can do this, and your foot might come down. You can do this, and then you can bring your hands to your heart. Or you can bring the hands above your head. So you can do this. Or, if you're feeling a little bit wobbly, do this. Just bring a little bit of balance, and then you might bring your hand away. And you might be like, okay, now you can bring your hands to heart center. You might feel a bit wobbly, and then you do this. So practice, Find that little engagement that feels good for you. One more deep inhale, and then a full exhale. Just shake the legs out, and then come all the way back to center. Nice. All right, let's do the other side. I don't want to come too far off so you can't see my head. So spread out for your right toes. Lift up your left foot. And then I'm going to go right into my thigh on this side. But you might go the same, or you might have the foot just with the top of the toe right onto the floor. So, or you're using the ball. So now here, I'm pressing my thigh into my foot, and my foot into my thigh. And then I can find a little bit more opening. It feels good. And I've got a little bit of wobbling going on. That's okay. You can lift the hands up, grow your roots, and swing your branches around a little bit. Whatever feels good. If you fall out, just come straight back in. Don't be frustrated. The first time that I did yoga and we went into a pose like this, oh wow, I was like, what is going on? Nice. One more deep inhale. And then a full exhale. Bring the leg down. Shake it out. Beautiful work, everyone. Should we try one more standing balance? This one's a little bit more advanced. And so what you're going to do, probably do it from this side. You're going to bring your right hand out, and you see how I've got my hand turned outwards. So it's not in and it's not out. The reason that is because I don't want to grab my ankle from the outside. I want to grab it from the inside. So you'll probably be able to see here. My hand comes down, and I'm grabbing my ankle on the inside. See on the inside here? And that means my shoulder here can open up. I can do it on the outside, but it's a lot harder for this shoulder to open because you'll see what we're going to do next. All right, so feet back hip width apart again. We're going to lift up the right foot, bring your right hand out, turn the palm out, bring it down, and then grab on the inside of the foot. So then we're balanced on one foot. Remember, you can do this against the wall. You might have your arm against the wall. If you're like me, bring your left hand up. This is dancer pose. Stretch up here. It's not all about how deep you can come into it, but then begin to kick the foot into the hand. So it's a back bend as well. You might just come down a little bit like this, stretching it out. If you fall out, come straight back in. One more deep inhale. And exhale, bring everything back to center. Lift the knee, bring it down, shake the legs out. Nice. Let's do the other side. So remember, turn the left palm out, spread out through the right foot, pick up the left leg, grab inside of the left ankle. So you bring the knees somewhat together here. So you try and square off the hips as much as you can. Lift up the right arm, and then kick the left foot into the left hand. So you feel this shoulder beginning to open. It's a back bend. You might feel a little bit of wobbling. Don't have to come down too far. Kind of leading here from the heart center. Beautiful. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, bring the left leg up, shake it out, and then bring it down. Beautiful, everyone. Nice. And then you can just shake it out a little bit. I'll move my thumb mat back. And that's all the balancing done. Sometimes it feels like you build up a little bit of tension, doesn't it, into the body. So well done on doing that. And just practice them. Brush your teeth, put your socks on, stand on one leg, just randomly. Be in a queue. The Brits are great at queuing, aren't they? Probably not as good at queuing on one leg. So queue on one leg. What a great thing to do. All right. 3 rounds of sun salutation A, which should be nice and warmed up. Bring the hands to heart center. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, forward in deep. Nice. Inhale, lengthen the spine, come up halfway. And then exhale, hands down. Step one foot back. Step your other foot back. And then just take an inhale, lengthen into your plank. As you exhale, drop your knees and then lower all the way to the floor. So you want to try and keep your elbows tucked in really close to your body. So you lower down nice and slowly. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Take an inhale, roll the shoulder blades back. This is your cobra. Then as you exhale, bring the forehead down, press back to all fours. So now you're here. And then lift your hips into your downward facing dog. Keep a bend in the knees if that feels good. And breathe really deeply. Nice. Deep inhale. Full exhale. One more like that. Your deepest inhale. And your fullest exhale. And then bend your knees into your hips, up between your hands. And then gently, just step to the top of your mat. Take an inhale, come back halfway. Lengthen the spine as much as you can. Exhale, fold in low. Press into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up, come up to stand. And then exhale, framing your hands to heart center. Nice. 2 more like that. Inhale up. Exhale, fold in low. Inhale to find length. Exhale, hands down. Step 1 foot back, step the other foot back. Inhale again. Here's your plank. And then your choice this time. You can lower your knees like we did on the first, or you can come all the way down just in one piece like this. Nice. Inhale into your cobra, maybe with the arms a little bit straighter, but you don't have to. Be careful at the back. And then exhale, all fours, or do what I'm doing, just lift the hips into your downward facing dog. Nice. 2 breaths here. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Your deepest inhale. And your fullest exhale. And then bend your knees, hinge your hips, get nice and springy. Step to the top of your mat, 1 foot then the other. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold in low. Press into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, framing your hands to heart center. And then with 1 more round, just go with your breath. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Nice. Inhale, find length. Exhale, hands down. Step 1 foot back. Step the other foot back. Nice deep inhale to find length. And then as you exhale, your choice. Drop your knees, lower all the way to the floor. Or if you're feeling funky, come halfway down here, which is Chaturanga. Inhale, you come to up dog or cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Nice. 1 more like that. Deep inhale. And a full exhale. And then just drop your knees down onto your mat. And then you can just sit back onto your heels or just sit any way that feels good for you. So I'll just show you that transition which I did earlier, because we kind of work on these transitions from time to time. And then we get into a class and then sometimes we'll think, what was that we did? What's the difference between the two? So when we're doing a sun salutation, we're here in plank. So you've got 3 choices really. You can drop your knees and then you just lower all the way to the floor. So that's a nice way to do it. You can be in plank, you can keep the knees lifted, keep the elbows tucked by the body, lower all the way to the floor. So you can do it this way. So that's the second way. Or you can be in your plank, getting tired now, and then you can come into a pose called Chaturanga Dandasana, which is halfway down. So you bring your weight forward, you bend into the elbows, and you're in this position. You see my knees are still lifted, and then I just come up into upward facing dog. You see my knees are off the floor, and then I push up and I go into downward facing dog. So you've got those 3 choices really. I mean, there's variations of all of those, but when I say come into Chaturanga, that's what I mean. All right, great. Come to sit. Let's just do a couple more things, or just 1 more thing seated. So you're going to lengthen out through your right leg, bend your left knee in, cross your left knee over your right knee. You just do that, cross your left knee over your right knee. We'll just do a nice simple twist. So you're going to bring up your left hand, bring it behind you. You're going to twist over to the right here. So bring your right arm, wrap it around your left knee. Take an inhale here, plug everything into the center line. And then as you exhale, twist over to the left. So you're never quite static. Nice deep inhale to find length. Full exhale into your twist. We moved into the neck, so feel free, if it feels okay, to move your neck. 1 more like that. Nice deep inhale. And a full exhale. Inhale back to center. Do a little counter twist. So bring the hands over to the left and then come all the way back. And then just cross your legs out. Bend the right knee in, cross the right knee over the left. So it's just that simple crossover. And then this left leg is nice and active. You know, you're not sort of hanging out. Right hand comes behind. Bring your left arm up and then wrap the right knee in. So you're just kind of bringing everything into the center line. So the right knee comes in, really hugging it in with this left arm. And then you get a nice straight spine. Inhale to find length. Exhale into your twist. And 2 more breaths like that. Nice deep inhale to find length. Exhale as you twist. 1 more time. Deep inhale. And then a full exhale. Inhale, come all the way back to center. That little counter twist over to the left. Nice. And then all the way back. Uncross your legs. And then come to lie down on your mat. So we'll just spend a couple of minutes here just to let all of the amazing work you've done integrate. Before you do it, lie onto your mat, bend your knees into your chest. Make sure the spine feels nice and stable here. And then when everything feels good, come into a position that feels good for you. I'm just going to lengthen my legs and they go nice and wide. My arms are nice and wide. And I'm in this kind of like really wide version of Shavasana. If it doesn't feel good, bend into the knees. Let the knees touch. Or find a version of Shavasana that feels good for you. And then find some stillness. Let all of your bones, let all of the structure of your body just melt down into the floor. And then from here, just gently, in your own time, in your own way, just bring in some life back into your body. Start with some small movements, and then maybe make them a little bit bigger. You can sigh out through the mouth. I always like to just stretch my arms out, let them fall behind my head. Take a full body stretch. Maybe yawn. And then bend your knees back into your belly. Hug the knees in. And then bring the forehead up towards your knees. Squeeze everything in here. Nice. And then just roll to one side. Nice and simple. Press into the top hand. And then come all the way to a seated position where we started the class just under 45 minutes ago. Beautiful work, everyone. Really nice. Let's bring our left hand onto our heart, right hand onto our left hand. Sit nice and tall. Maybe close your eyes. Appreciate everything you've done for yourself today. Turning up, practicing yoga. Well done. It's an amazing thing to do. Don't discount what it is because it can be very powerful. And remember, just come into this practice whenever it feels good for you. You don't have to do a full 45-minute yoga practice. So then just lowering your head down towards your hands, wish yourself well, and just wish everybody else well. And then you might want to just say namaste. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Really lovely to see you all again. I'll be back next week. for a little bit more yoga. We'll probably work on the balances again, but otherwise enjoy this beautiful weather, and I'll see you next Thursday. Thank you so much. Bye now.